winter of 2015-2016 was the warmest on record since 1981. Woohoo! Yay! Lucky us.
Welkom bij de 19e aflevering van Fans of Flanders, seizoen 4. In de kijker deze week. Topjournaliste Carrie Brown ruilde Washington in voor Brussel. Dominique uit Congo leidt ons rond in zijn kleine Afrika. We vertellen de mythe van het rosbijaard. En Rio de Janeiro gaat hopeloos op zoek naar de zon. Speciaal voor expats, maar ook voor jullie. Gelukzakken van bij ons. Carrie is een topjournaliste van het Amerikaanse blad Politico. Zij kwam naar Brussel om gewapend met haar pen de Europese politiek op zijn grondvesten te doen daveren.
When I first told some folks in the White House I was going to go to Belgium, the reaction of, the press staff was like, oh my gosh, I have to call up my counterparts there and tell them what is about to hit them. My name is Carrie Brown. I am an American. Moved to Brussels almost exactly a year ago to help launch Politico's European edition. I was senior White House correspondent in the US. I covered the president for a number of years from back when he was not very well known. And then he went to the White House. I covered all of the major domestic policy battles he had, healthcare, Wall Street regulatory reform, all the budget battles from the last few years, and just politics.
I hear you're moving to Europe. Where are you going to be?
Brussels.
Brussels?
Yes, helping Politico start a new publication.
Well, congratulations.
I've been covering you since the beginning, so.
Well, I think
It's been a long road.
I think there's no doubt that what Belgium needs is a version of Politico.
People laughed. And that's because we've had a very tough relationship with the president because we didn't do what everybody else did. Back in 2007, you had a couple of major news organizations, the New York Times, the Washington Post. They reported just for the next morning. The news cycle was very slow, and you wrote one story a day, and people had to wait for it. Politico came in thinking, well, there's the internet. If you find out something when you're walking down the hall in Congress, that you get a senator to tell you something, put it out right then. And no one else was doing that. And you drive the news cycle. then everyone else is chasing after you because they were going to save that one tidbit for the next day. So we really hastened the pace of journalism in Washington. It was very much a new concept then. Before we came, people said, oh, the EU's boring. It's just a bunch of buildings. There's a lot of bureaucrats. It's just not that interesting. And we would always say, no, it actually is really interesting. The stories are there. They just need to be told. We're here to cover European politics much more aggressively and comprehensively and in a far more accessible and fun manner, driving a conversation that's important. That's what we're here for. I feel very, very proud of where we've come so far. There's something better than a scoop, in terms of how you feel about your existence as a journalist. That's what you strive to do with every story you do, with your reporting. You're always trying to find out information that other people don't know. So the scoop is like the best thing. And then when you see it take off on Twitter, or people sharing it, or you walk into a briefing room and people say, hey, great job, that is sort of why we do what we do. We don't make a ton of money, we work long hours, but when someone says, hey, great job, I wish I had that story, that's sort of what it's all about.
Deze week in het nieuws.
I've gotta say what's on my mind today. I've gotta think of what the words will say. I've gotta do it now without delay. I've got a problem with you, by the way. Two options to avoid a war. How long will this go on and on? How long will this go on and on? How long will this?
It seems there is no privacy anymore. You have GPS tracking signals in all your mobile devices. We have televisions that can listen to your conversations. And soon there will be facial scanning devices in airports. Now, the Internal Affairs Minister here in Belgium is suggesting he puts together a database of all citizens' fingerprints. Well, that's a brilliant idea. If you haven't done anything wrong, you've nothing to fear. Mr. Jambon, I have 2 fingerprints for your database.
Fans of Flanders was te gast in het kleurrijk huisje van Dominique. Een Congolees met een bijzondere levensfilosofie.
Ik ben Dominique Lubaki. Ik ben van Congolees oorsprong. Ik woon in Oostende. Welkom in mijn huisje. Ik ben een kunstenaar. Via mijn kunst probeer ook iets te zeggen. Drinkwater in Afrika. Dat is het probleem in Afrika. Water. Hier loopt de water. Dat moet zo zijn in Afrika. Ik ben ook een pourquoïste. Het pourquoïsme betekent op zoek naar het waarom. Dat is om oplossing te zoeken. Ik heb zelf geen diploma van filosoof, niet in universiteit geweest om een pourquoïste te worden. Dat komt door mijn levenservaring. Hier heb ik mijn speciaal radio. Het is zoals een reliquie voor mij. Ik heb deze cadeau gekregen van mijn papa. Ik noem dat zelf radiotrottoir. Dus radiotrottoir betekent van mond tot oren. Het is vooral voor de mensen die op straat. De mensen die vertellen iets over wat is er gebeurd. Het is zoals roddelen. Ja. Ik organiseer vaak interculturele voetbaltoernooien. Iedereen begrijpt voetbal. Daarom maak ik een voetbal met mijn eigen manier. Kunst in het voetbal en het voetbal en de kunst, zoals je ziet hier. Om deze voetbal te maken heb jij een t-shirt nodig. Bijvoorbeeld deze t-shirt, oude krant nodig. Plastic zakje. Heb je een schaar nodig. Gewoon contact aan mij nemen. En ik zal aan jullie tonen hoe kunnen jullie deze voetbal maken. Deze autootje, veel kinderen, geen geld om naar de winkel te stappen. Wat doen ze? Ze maken zelf autootjes. Wij noemen dat in mijn geboorteland artikel 15. Trek uw plan. Ik woon hier in Oostende, 25 jaar. Ik voel mij echt een Oostendenaar. En ik voel ook de zee iets van mij geworden. Het stuk van Oostende tot Middelkerk is van mij geworden. Allee, bedankt voor de bezoek en tot de volgende keer. Okay.
I've gotta say what's on my mind today. I've gotta think of what the words will say. I've gotta do it now without delay. I've got a problem with you, by the way. I've gotta get away from how we are. I've gotta let you be the one you want. I've got a feeling that we've come too far. I've got two options to avoid a war. How long will this go on and on? How How long will this go on and on? How long will this go on?
You want some shit of mouse? Dan is de Wablief van deze week echt iets voor jou.
Hello, and a very warm welcome to a morning edition of Wablief. The morning, that time of the day when you're still sober, you've got out of bed, you've combed your hair, you've stretched your limbs, and now it's time to fill your stomach. And the first thing you think about is pellets. Pellets, you say? Yes, I say pellets. Mouse pellets. Now you see, my friends, in Flanders, nothing gets wasted, and we eat mice pellets. Yes, we put them on our bread as a spread. Now, the official word for that is hagelslag, but we leave that word to our friends in the Netherlands. We say muizenstrontjes or mice pellets. Now, I think I do know where the word comes from, because as you eat these muizenstrontjes, you spill them all around, and then it looks as if a little mouse ran over your table and left its droppings there. So, my friends, if your empty morning stomach needs some fertilizing to get you through the day, grab a box of muizenstrontjes and you'll be okay.
Recently, Audi decided to move the production of their new electronic SUV to a factory in Brussels. Our Prime Minister, Charles Michel, says that this proves that Belgium is sexy for investors. Sexy. You kidding me? Does this man speak English? Charlie, you got some issues there at home? It's not the right word.
I've gotta get away from
Van Griekenland tot Troje, aan mythische paarden heeft de geschiedenis geen gebrek. Maar ook in Vlaanderen hebben we ons eigen fabelachtig rijdier. Het imposante ros Bijaard.
Once upon a time there was Aemon, faithful vassal to the king Charlemagne, and married to the king's sister, the beautiful Ea. This couple had 4 children, Ritsaart, Adelaard and Reinoud. And as tradition demanded, their father gave each of them a horse. But Reinoud, the strongest of the 4 brothers, accidentally killed his horse. So his father took him to a castle to tame an untamable horse called Bayard. An impossible mission, but Reinoud persisted, and finally the horse submitted to his will. Since then, Bayard obeyed his master blindly. When the 4 brothers or 4 heemskinderen grew older, they entered the service of the king. One day, over a game of chess, a heated quarrel started between Louis, the son of the king, and Reinoud. Reinoud knocked Prince Louis on the head with the chessboard made of solid silver, killing him on the spot. Charlemagne decided to avenge the death of his son, and so the 4 brothers fled on the back of the stallion Bayard to the inaccessible woods of the Ardennes. Charlemagne decided to drown this invincible horse, and he made the 4 brothers watch from the banks of the river. Now Reinoud couldn't bear to watch the suffering of Bayard, so he looked away. When the horse saw this, it gave up its struggle and drowned in the river Scheldt. In Dendermonde, they hold the Ros Bijaard procession every 10 years, and it's a horse that they carry around that weighs about 800 kilograms, carried round by a guild of men they call Flanders. True to the legend, 4 brothers take place on top of the horse during the parade, dressed in a knight's armor. They have to be born in a consecutive order. In Dendermonde, their grandparents have to be from Dendermonde, and they still have to live in the district of Dendermonde. No wonder this stuff is on the cultural heritage list of the UNESCO. Now, what is true about this story? Well, Charlemagne actually lived at the turning of the 8th and 9th century, and he united a big part of Europe. But Louis the Pious didn't suffer death by chessboard. He actually died of sickness and well after Charlemagne had died himself. And there is no vassal Iman. He's just a literary creation. He never was the Lord of Dendermonde. Actually, the only thing connecting the story of the horse Bayard with the city of Dendermonde is its parade. Reinoud de Montauban. Maybe he lived in the 8th century and was a personal guard of Charlemagne. But there are a lot of ifs and maybes to this story and no actual historical records. Just a story. Like most Frankish literature, the story is all about feudal loyalty between a lord and his vassal, the political system of the Middle Ages. Although we can sympathize with Reinoud's cause, it's pretty clear from the beginning that his lord will have the final say in it. No matter how hard your knight dances around the political chessboard with a seeming untamable horse, in the end, it's all about the king.
Rio de Janeiro mist de zon. Daarom ging hij deze week op zoek naar een stukje Brazilië aan de Vlaamse kust.
I haven't seen the sun for a while, but that's about to change. I'm going to the Flanders beach. Caipirinha, samba, fiesta.
If you like pina coladas and getting caught in the rain, if you're not into yoga, if you have half a brain,
It's time for a swim.
if you like making love at midnight in the dunes on the Cape, then I'm the love
Holy shit!
fall right to me and escape.
That makes more sense. Let's go. Hello. I can't feel my hands.
No, it's cold.
Yeah, it's a little bit cold, yes.
No, it's not cold. It's good at the sea. There's always some cold here. Good?
Yeah, it's good. What do you like most, when it's sunny or when it's cold?
Sunny, of course. I'm going to Spain next in 2 weeks.
Where are the beautiful people?
Yes. You are beautiful.
Oh, thank you. That's super kind. Okay.
Maar deze morgen was het heel goed weer, maar nu is het meer koud, hè?
There's no banana boat.
The banana boat. I don't need banana boats. I need the real stuff. My dog, the wind, the sea. That's all.
I would like to know, how can I have fun in this weather? It's quite difficult for me, you know?
Have fun in this weather. You just have to enjoy nature.
Just walk. Walk to there and come back.
And come back.
This weather, not much to do.
Everybody advised me to walk. Let's see. In Brazil, it's never that peaceful.
Who can say where the road goes, where the day flows, only time. And who can say if your love grows as your heart shows, only time.
The sea in Flanders is very different. I feel different. See you next week. See you.
This is a Wi-Fi modem, which is sticked upside down through the ceiling of Central Station in Brussels.
It does look like.
I imagine the conversation of the people working there.
What should we
Someone
do?
is like, hey, Joost, look what I found out. It just fits through.